That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. We are checking out some of the news headlines and some of the things very interesting. I know pox is a thing, smallpox is a thing, polio now. What is up with the peas? We don't want to know, I'll tell you that much. Either way you slice it or dice it, you got to be careful out there, okay? So that's number one. Number two is this. It's Friday, and I'm telling you right now, we got Jesse's favorite episode when it comes to, what can make it fun, what can make it exciting, what can make it so that you basically go, oh no, I got to buy something. And we got Joel Prevost with us. Good morning. Welcome to the show, Joel.
Good morning. It's good to be back.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad. I know you've been on vacation a little with the fam. How's the fam doing?
They're doing great. Yeah, we took a really fun vacation into Montana where I grew up, but then we went to the western side, all the mountains, and did a whole lot of mountain biking. And now we're back, and it's good to be home right before school starts, and we only have a few weeks before school starts here. And so here to talk a little bit about some back-to-school gadgets and things for people to think about.
Yeah, let's go and talk about that. I know when it comes to writing, it's kind of like, okay, do you choose a pen? Do you choose a pencil? What gets your thoughts out? If you doodle a little, what is the right thing to do? And, lately I've been writing a few, I wrote a few scripts, and I've been, using like voice to like recording and then transcribe that. But sometimes you want to go through and edit, and it's like, okay, you make a mark and you're like, wait, did I want to make that mark? And that's probably some pens. But I understand a new pen is out, which some people are probably going to want to get their kids because at least they could use a pen, and then they can do what with it?
Yeah, so this is an erasable pen, and we've all heard of that. I think as kids there were some products out there that were claimed to do that. They often weren't quite as billed, but this is called the Frixion, and it's Frixion is the spelling, and it's a product from Pilot, and you can get a pack of them for $10. It's an erasable ink pen, but it uses a thermal sensitive gel ink. So the erasing is done because of the friction you're creating when you rub the eraser on the paper. So the reviews are good, and if someone's looking for something other than a pencil that would write more like a pen, this might be a product that's kind of fun as you're preparing for back to school for your kids, and something that they would use, especially I think with kids who do like to doodle a little bit, and maybe they're perfecting their drawings or whatever. Sometimes we think of doodling as someone being distracted, but I think a lot of studies have come out that some people need to kind of be engaged in something while they're listening. Even as adults, we do that when we're in meetings. You see that more and more often at conferences where they throw a bunch of stuff on the table for adults to fidget with, right? The fidgeting thing. Well, kind of the original fidget is that doodling thing. And so whether it's that or it's just taking notes or writing, your next book like you, Aaron, and you're thinking, well, I want to write not in pencil, but I want to be able to make edits and not have it all be messy, and I can actually erase with this pen. Might be a nice product to try out.
Well, that's good. At $10.99, right, on Amazon, you can get it. You can go ahead and be clear as you want, and then if you make a mistake, you don't have to use that whiteout, right? or because I remember certain pens, like they used to be kind of that way, and they had the eraser at the top end of it, but the way it would write was kind of like it was already like you could rub it off. But I kind of want to see. You're right. Pilot makes a really good product. And the pen itself looks really kind of cool. So I think it's good for boys. And I think they got maybe different, let's see, it comes in black. It's got fine. It's got 0.7. So, yeah, I think this is good to go.
Yeah, it's a cool product.
And look at, I think they have blue available too. Yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah. All right, so that's pretty neat. Now, for the cool person that wants like a gadget, there has been a thing that's been out for a while. I remember seeing some products at other stuff where they have electronics, and I've always wondered what works, what doesn't. And sometimes they have like a tablet that when you write on the tablet, it transcribes onto you let me know how it works.
Yeah, so there are apps that, you could write on your iPad or other tablet, and then it would transcribe your handwriting into like a typed message into a Word document or that type of thing. So it basically, you can take handwritten notes and it turns into a typewritten product. But the product that we're talking about today is called Live Scribe, and it's actually the like a smart pen that you do have to use their notepad, but when you write with it, it can do a variety of things. They have several products. So the more expensive product that they have, that's really kind of James Bond-esque, if you think about it, is that it can actually record what you're writing and upload it into whatever your cloud storage is, whether it's OneNote or Google Drive or Dropbox, that kind of thing. You can save your document into typed form from what you wrote, and it will actually audio record anything that you want and transcribe that into your notes as well. So you could talk to your pen. You could be at a conference or listening to a teacher talk, and if you're having a hard time, and I was this way because my handwriting isn't great, um, that you get behind in notes when you're trying to take notes from something, and so you're behind, and then you start writing faster and it gets messier. So having a pen that could actually, you could record what they're saying, so you could come back to that later in your studies and then capture it, or you don't even have to listen to it. It would transcribe it into your document to basically create notes for you. Kind of a clever way to do that without, you're not pulling out a smartphone and videoing and getting in trouble, but this pen could actually capture important information for you. Again, I know Jesse is already thinking of devious ways that this could be used, but we're going to just stick to school, right? And how this could be done without getting in trouble, and not spying on people, but rather for the purposes that they're billing it. And it's $134, so it's a little steep for a gadget, but it does have some significant capabilities, and it's kind of a cool thing to think about.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Jesse? Do you think this has a see? Joel knows you already. He already knows what you would like air this on. But what use do you see this, Jesse?
Oh no, I already put this on my wish list as he's talking about it.
It's a good
I,
gift. I'm not gonna lie.
it looks like an amazing gift, and I was thinking about like, oh, I could probably use this for my brother because he could use something similar to this, and anything to make your life a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's smart, and Joel, I think what's really cool about this, and it's a thing that I've been seeing, kind of, especially for kids. It has what they call smart paper, where it kind of catalogs, like it's got a record, a pause, a stop, and it's so smart that when you put the ballpoint on the particular like record button, you can speak and it will record what you say or who says what, as well, using, like, I don't even know how to say it, like memory. I don't know how to say it, but the paper comes with it, and the paper is affordable as well, right?
Right. No, right. That's the thing. And so it's important people know that it doesn't, you do need to use their smart setup basically. So you're using their notebook and the pen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's because of how they work together. So it's really incredible what that the $134 version, what that can do. It even integrates with like Zoom or Teams. So if you're on a video call and you're writing in real time, the people on that Zoom can see what you're writing on your notebook if you integrate. So it's really connected,
Well,
and kind of cool. There is a less expensive. Go ahead.
Well, go ahead, go to the less expensive one because
Well, yeah, there's a less expensive product they sell. It's still $99, but it's called the Symphony, and it will just do the digital transcribing. But one thing I wanted to note is that these also work with over like 27 languages. So that's cool too. That it's really accessible to the host of people. Regardless of what language is your native language, you could use this and it will understand what you're writing.
Okay, so let me back up just a little for the listener on our radio device, our podcast, right? Usually, KMT 1490 AM or 98.1 FM. If you're listening on either one of those, You got to understand this, okay? It has an app that when you download, let's say you have an iPad, okay? On the iPad, you could take a picture of your photo of anything you draw, right? But this, I think, with the paper as well, it syncs your iPhone or your iPad, I should say, with what you write, but it makes it searchable as well. So let's say you're a writer, all right? We'll just keep it very generic. You're a writer. Maybe you go to college. Maybe you don't go to college. Maybe you're like Joel's saying, taking notes and you're trying to like, okay, how can I, make sense of this eventually? Because maybe I like, this conversation or I don't, right? I think it's good for lawyers, attorneys, when you're like in a meeting with someone and you're like, okay, no, you said that. Because I've been in conversations where people say a different thing and you're like, no, you said that. So you can record. I didn't know this pen can record audio too, by the way, but it's good that it can. I don't know how far it reaches, right, to where you could hear it. But at
Right.
the end of the day, it makes your handwritten notes searchable. So let's say you have a whole notebook, right? Rarely do you say, look, let me, I don't know how to explain it. It's like Google Images where you can hover over an image and it automatically tells you what it is. It's getting that smart. But you can upload it to your, like, Dropbox, and then you could save your notes or your drawings or your pictures, right? And so I think it has even more use just for like drawing. I know a lot of people that draw on their tablet using the Smart Pen, right? Which is expensive in and
Hmm.
of itself. But if you could have this, you could have the ink, so you have your own notebook, right? But you can save that. So even if you lose the notebook, it automatically goes to your iPad, and it's like regular paper, and it transcribes it, so then it basically knows, like, what you write, right? If that makes sense.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of applications that come to mind, like when you brought up, a lawyer, for example. Well, what about how many people go to like a medical appointment and maybe they have their advocate with them, and those two people will leave a medical appointment with completely different stories. One says, "Oh, the doctor, advised I start doing this," and the other person says, "No, that was just they didn't say it that way." So suddenly you could say, "Wait, what did they say?" Because there's only so much that is totally put into the medical record, and sometimes there's some good back and forth and learning that goes on when people are working on that and focused on their health. And there's anxiety in moments like that for people who might be going through a health crisis or just a change in their health. And so to be able to reflect and say, what was the advice they gave me about my diet or exercise or whatever, or my heart condition, um, beyond just maybe the prescribed medication and some of that care planning, there's sometimes nuance to those conversations that gets lost. So I think whether it's a legal situation, whether it's a medical situation, or it's just what you're talking about, your personal passion or hobby that you're wanting to organize better, if you want to smarten up your notes, this is a really interesting tool to explore.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, you just got me next level. Sometimes when I put my recording on, and I do, people go, "Why are you recording?" I go, "Because I want to record this conversation because I think you have good ideas." And I say, "Is it all right?" But back to something you say, in the heat of the moment, now I want this pen forever, and I want to carry it with me because you can't say I said that. And let's go back to doctors right now, right? There's a lot of people making medical mistakes, right? And when it's your family, do you have a case eventually? I would say yes, but of course you need to let them know they're being recorded, I guess. But I guess my point is this. You could still hold them to the wall and said, no, that's what you said. I have proof. When I was writing, I was recording the conversation as well. Writing
Right.
notes and recording conversation is almost the same thing. And I think even in a court of law, you could say, hey, by the way. So I think the fact that you can record by pushing, the record thing on the paper, and it has micro dots, it's very difficult to explain it, except it says
Yeah.
here, LiveScribe Notebooks. This is the company, LiveScribe. Okay, go to us.livescribe.com. LiveScribe notebooks use regular paper printed with a unique pattern of tiny micro dots. This pattern is called DPS and works like a GPS for the Smart Pen. The Smart Pen's high-speed infrared camera reads the dot pattern, which enables a wide range of digital functionalities and paper-based applications. LiveScribe's smart paper notebooks and paper-based applications are provided by LiveScribe at prices comparable to standard paper products. And I will say yes, they're like average $8 to $11 for the paper. So the pen of itself is honestly better than most pens that they give like executives. You know what I mean? Because it does all that and more. And if you have a problem, like with an attorney, and the attorney said this or attorney said that, you say, can I take notes? But now you're taking audio as well, which attorneys, they don't like recordings, but they do like recordings when they have depositions, right? But they got to tell you legally, okay, you're being recorded, blah, 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 blah. But my point is this. You can never get in hot water with at least anyone you date. So, Jesse, I think this is good for you, just so you know.
Oh, yeah. I'm already thinking of a couple of things I could use this for.
Yeah, see, there you go. Okay, so he agrees. All right, and last but not least, before we... Oh, go ahead, Joel.
No, I was just going to say, you bring up a good point about the recording somebody, and every state is different when it comes to the legal around that, and I am not a lawyer. I know that Minnesota is actually a like one-party consent when it comes to recording. So technically, if you and I are having a conversation over the phone or in person in Minnesota, and I think it should be recorded, well, I'm one of the parties in the group, so I can record it, and I don't have to actually disclose that, which is kind of amazing.
I'm going to Minnesota to have conversations from now on, because I've literally had conversations. I go, no, you said that. They go, I didn't say that. I go, yes, you did. So I get where you're going with that. But look, every state is different. Look, but even for your own notes, it's good to go back and say, did they say that? I think it's good for people that take notes. It's good for people that are executive assistants. I think it's good for the medical community. I think it's good for people everywhere just to have fun anyway. We're just seeing all the uses of it. Even LiveScribe's like, dude, don't put us under hot water. But at the end of the day, that's us, man. We put it to the limit. Okay, people. Last but not least, something that I think is good for, honestly, anyone and everyone, but definitely I could see this for your kids. It's called the Wake Up Light. What is this?
Yeah, so it's an alarm clock that will gradually wake you or your kid or whoever wants to use it with just gradually bringing light to the room. So it's a light that just brightens the room naturally, or with sounds, natural sounds that can come on. You have multiple different colors to work with. It's a nice alternative to that obnoxious sound that an alarm clock might have, or some of even the alarms on our phones. And for folks who their kid doesn't have a phone to use for an alarm clock, or if they're trying to keep devices out of the room so that they don't feel tempted to just, get on a device immediately when you wake up, that kind of habit, having an alarm clock, but one that might be just a little nicer entry into the day with some glowing light or a nice natural sound that just brings you out of your sleep, might be a nice way to treat your kids as school starts this year and say, we got something special for you, so that maybe mornings are a little less crazy and hectic and we can all wake up on time and not be grumpy. Might be a nice thing to put their way. It's $40. You can find it on Amazon. It's called Wake Up Light, sunrise alarm clock.
Well, I like it because I keep saying I want to wake up to the radio. So it has FM on here. I wonder why they don't have AM, but I'm all right with that because then you can wake up to your favorite station and then you can be ready to go within like a few minutes or maybe an hour. Because I don't think the iPhone does it anymore. I go to the snooze button so much, I have missed a couple appointments, just so you know. So, and Jesse knows. He's like, are you going to do the show today? I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. I cannot wake up at a late night. Anyway, we got to let you go, Joel. Thank you for bringing Tech Talk to us. Again, great products. That pen, I'm telling you, I see so many uses for it.
Great. Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
All right. We got to take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Definitely message us and follow Joel on Twitter and other places. Use hashtag Tech Talk with Joel. We'll be right back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Your pharmacy and mobility solutions is now Beaumont Pharmacy with the new location at the Sundance Corporate Center. That's at the corner of Highland Springs and 8th in Suite 110. Of course, they still have Pack Your Meds. No more counting out the pills, dropping them on the floor. Oh, what a mess. And they have a full selection of pharmaceutical CBD. Wheelchairs, over-the-counter meds, you name it, they've got it. So if you're looking for the best and you want the best pharmacy, you go to Beaumont Pharmacy at their new location, 835 North Highland Springs, Beaumont Avenue in Beaumont, California, Suite 110. Give them a call, 951-845-8252.
Tired of waiting in line for overpriced coffees and packaged rolls? Make a change and stop for coffee or espresso and a fresh homemade apple fritter or ham and cheese croissant at Donut Delight on Highland Springs Road in Banning, just off the I-10 freeway. Donut Delight is a family-owned business with a friendly staff who has served the past area for 22 years. Donut Delight on the corner of Highland Springs Road and Ramsey Street, just off the I-10 freeway. Donut Delight opens daily at 4:30 a.m.
The Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Banning is distinctively suited for your travel time out of the car. Off the road, you'll find a courteous, welcoming staff and spacious rooms with desks, flat-screen HD TVs, and comfortable furnishings. Enjoy the complimentary breakfast buffet, high-speed internet, and fitness center and pool. The Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Banning, conveniently located off the I-10 near golf, gaming, and entertainment. For reservations and information, call 951-572-5500. That's 951-572-5500, or go online at hiebanning.com.
We're in the studio with Fred Penny, managing attorney with Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers. Fred, tell us what makes you the #1 choice for handling personal injury cases.
Most of our firm is made up of former insurance company trial lawyers with extensive experience handling all types of personal injury matters. We believe that gives us a distinct advantage.
That's Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers with locations throughout California. For a free consultation, go to pennyandassociates.com or call 1-800-616-4-LAW. That's 1-800-616-4-LAW.
Mattress Brothers Overstock Mattress Sale. Just $3.99 for a foam-encased queen pillow top set. $3.99. Check out Mattress Brothers $3.99 Overstock Sale. Mattress Brothers in Redlands. The $3.99 Overstock Sale is on now. $3.99 for a foam-encased queen pillow top set. Mattress Brothers also has locations in Hammett, Riverside, and Palm Desert. The $3.99 queen pillow top sale on now.
Hi, I'm Harvey Hyde. Don't forget to listen every Saturday morning to USC Trojan Talk right here on AM 1490 on your dial. We've got all the guests in the athletic department and more. Plus, we have a segment called Trojan Update. That's every Saturday morning. USC Trojan Talk here on AM 1490 on your dial. Fight on, everyone.
Welcome back. Yes, it is the morning show here on ABC News Radio KMET 1490 AM. Jesse, you had an interesting idea for that alarm clock. Bacon. What's going on there, Jesse?
Yeah, it's like, come on. Don't tell me you wouldn't wake up to the smell of bacon.
I would, but I would be disappointed if it weren't there ready for me to eat, Jesse.
That is true, but it will wake you up, wouldn't it?
No, it would disappoint me. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I've been places. I'll give you an example. I went to Texas to drop off some very important electronic item. Okay, it was a big server. Okay, it took me forever to get there. I got there. I was tired. He said, "Hey, chill with us. You don't need to get a room." I said, "Okay, cool." The very next morning, I woke up a little late, and he's like, "Dude, you're gonna, and I'm like, "Oh, sorry, man. It's been a late night." And I smelled bacon, okay? I was happy to have his lady prepare some bacon, right? But I got to fulfill my need. You have a need that I think you want to wake up to, but unless it cooks bacon for you, I think you're going to be like, man, I need bacon, right? Am I wrong? Come on.
I guess we could invent some type of thing that automatically cooks bacon to wake you up.
Ding!
I mean,
right, like a little toaster oven, connected to the alarm clock that goes.
Yes, that would be awesome.
And it says, "Wake up, Jesse."
Oh my! You know what? If it had like a whole full breakfast already ready to go, that would be even better.
Ding! Right? They have some of those. I don't know. Anyway, we could dream. Some of you tuned in. We appreciate you. Thank you for letting us know your thoughts. Again, we appreciate you. Let's see. Watching from Wyoming is Judy Munoz. Thank you. Says hanging out with Let's see, 11-year-old Mason this morning. Shout out to Mason. Absolutely, Mason. Keep doing what you do as a kid, and I can guarantee you that kid wants that clock. I think he wants the bacon idea, right? Let us know what Mason thinks he should wake up to. He'll be like, I want that in the morning. All right, awesome. Let's see. We've got Stephanie over there from Cleveland, Ohio. Says, hello, happy editing this glorious sunshine. Awesome, this busy day ahead for today. Awesome, glad to have that with you. And yeah, so it looks like Judy's back with her hometown in Walla Walla, Washington. So that's really cool. All right, Jesse, I know there's a lot of things going on, and I will say this, since we got the little one watching, we want to keep it G as much as possible. So I will say there are some stories out there which we go, what? And we go, okay. So Jesse, I'm going to let you lead with that. What story can we share for 11-year-old and up?
11-year-old and up. You know what? We can talk about movies.
Done. Let's.
Yeah, like I don't know. Do you have Hulu?
I do have a yearning to get Hulu, but if you could push me over the corner with that, I can almost guarantee you the 11-year-old wants it.
Okay, so yeah, the movie Prey came out last week, and it is the newest movie that's set in the Predator universe.
Okay.
And oh my god, it is such an amazing movie.
Okay, again, we're talking 11-year-old. Okay, let's go with like I think is that R, Jesse? I think it's a little scary for the kid.
You know what? It might be a little bit scary for the kid.
Think back to Blockbuster days, and then like.
Go back to Blockbuster days, and then
so
what?
You got nothing. Okay. Anyway, my point is this: like, there's a lot of good stuff on Hulu, Disney Plus. I think they actually did a combo deal, right? Disney Plus. I know there's some good stuff to watch on there, right?
I do know something that got released on Disney Plus.
Okay.
Okay. They made some I Am Groot animated shorts. I don't know if you've seen those yet, but they are super cute. They were really fun.
Okay, I believe it. Okay, so look, here's my thing. All right, I appreciate when they have like film and or series that are good for kids and for the family. Okay, so I think this 11-year-old Mason is gonna need to actually watch something Disney, and I think there's some good shows with that, right? And I know you know some good shows, Jesse. Pull them out of your hat.
Oh, you know what? I want to go to the movies. You know what? Minions: Rise of Gru. That's a family movie.
There you go. All right. And I was thinking more like Marvel.
Oh, you want to go DC? You know what? DC Super Pets was the League of Super Pets is on theater.
Okay. Again, I'm going Disney, dude. Marvel, not DC. I don't think he's a DC fan. Look. Okay. Look. There's a couple cool stuff on Disney Plus, right? And it's Marvel. And I know, Jesse, you've watched a few, right?
Yeah, you know what? But Disney Plus for Marvel is so like vast. It can go from something very scary to something very cool. That's why I like the I Am Groot with the animated series, because it's short, it's nice.
Okay.
It's not too horrifying. You could always go with old school and watch some of the classic Disney stuff.
Okay, Disney Plus is good. I'm going with this. Okay, they got Star Wars, right? They got Mandalorian. They've got Miss Marvel, right? That looks fun, right? He might appreciate that. They got Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? So they got some really fun stuff there. That's where I'm going with that. So, keep it fun, keep it exciting. I know Hulu's got some fun stuff as well, but I like to keep it as G as possible. PG, awesome. PG-13, that depends on your family and your parent, but Hulu's got some pretty cool stuff. I'm looking at some of their stuff. How much are they, by the way, Jesse?
What, Hulu?
Yeah.
I think Hulu's like $6.99 a month.
See, it's a Disney bundle.
Yes, it actually it can bundle with Disney Plus as well.
Oh, even better! And they got live TV. Here it is. Yeah, $6.99 a month, 30-day trial. So now, see, I guarantee your family's gonna be like, you know what? Let's get it. It's got ESPN Plus. Probably for, the ones who love sports. They have no ads, and that's $12.99 a month, all right? Now, I will say this. I know my mom was kind of like looking at Netflix, and she was like, I don't know if I want to pay $15.99 a month because it went up recently. And I'm like, why would they go up? They should go like, normal, but whatever. But my point is this. If you kind of like, okay, I'm done with what's there, I think Mandalorian looks cool. Obi-Wan Kenobi looks pretty awesome. That's where you get Lil Yoda, right? You can't go bad with that. And they got some new shows coming to that. So you can get Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus. Get endless entertainment, live sports, and the shows and movies you love. So get the Disney bundle, $6.99. You get a month free. Just ask your family for permission, and you're good to go. They have Avengers Endgame. I'm pretty sure he likes that. And they have Luca. That looks good, actually. Have you seen Luca yet?
I have seen Luca. It is a great movie.
Was it
It's
good
fun.
to see? Really? I
Yes.
have yet to see it.
Yes. I watch a lot of movies on Disney Plus, even though if they're children related, it doesn't matter. Because you know what? Some of them are fun, like Encanto.
Yeah, there you go. And then for the people that love sports, they've got live sports, catch your games, stream live games like NCAA, NBA, NHL, NFL, and more. The little one probably doesn't like sports right now. But you know what? You can have fun, get it for the family, and they'll say, all right, I love sports, and then you get them to get it for you, and you say, hey, just try out the 30-day trial, and then they'll love it. And then they've got some movies there as well, and some other stuff you could watch. I still need to watch, what is that with, what's her name? She was in, what is that? Scarlett, what's her name?
Scarlett Johansson?
Not that one, the other one. The one in the red, who has the boys in the movie with Doctor Strange. What's her name?
You're talking about WandaVision.
WandaVision! Isn't that on Disney
Scarlet
Plus?
Witch, yeah, that's on Disney Plus.
And I guarantee you Daredevil's coming out soon, right? So the new season, right? Think about it.
That is right. Daredevil actually got picked up for a series on Disney Plus, and unlike the other series where they only get like 6 episodes, 8 episodes, Daredevil is getting 18 episodes. So, yay!
There you go. See, so Disney Plus is where it's at. Get it while it's the right time. Corey's tuning in. I know she got kids at home. She's like, wait, what? I know they're gonna love Hulu and Disney, and you're gonna love just Disney, honestly, because she's a Marvel girl, guarantee. All right, people, we gotta take a quick little break. We'll be right back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Are you paying rent because you think you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you renting because you don't believe that you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? The Siegel lending team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel lending team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com, licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
When you want the best performance for your vehicle, think only of Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont, right off the I-10 and 60 freeways. Check out Scott's complete list of performance products on their website at hdrinfo.com. Scott's Headers and Mufflers can recommend ways for your car or truck to get better gas mileage and cut down on emissions. Need your car or truck to pass smog only? Go to Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont. Find out all of your questions on vehicle performance by logging on to hdrinfo.com. Scott's Headers and Mufflers in Beaumont, hdrinfo.com.
Join Yvette Walker every Tuesday at 4 o'clock p.m. on KMET ABC News Radio, 1490 AM, FM 98.1, and Internet KMET TV for the Southern California Business Report. The show is dedicated to highlighting successful businesses and the individuals behind them. Yvette interviews the incredible people managing these enterprises that range from awe-inspiring sole proprietors to world-renowned organizations. The Southern California Business Report, Tuesdays at 4 o'clock p.m.
Tried shipping a package lately? It's amazing how difficult and time-consuming it can be. Packing envelopes, boxes, second-day ground, next-day air, it's all enough to give you a headache. Next time, do yourself a favor, go with the pros at the UPS store in Beaumont. They'll pack it right and let you know all your shipping options. You can also take care of everyday tasks like copies, faxing, notary services, and live scan fingerprinting. And while you're there, Pay your Edison, gas company, and Verizon bills. Open extended hours Monday through Saturday. The UPS store in Beaumont, located in the Oak Valley Plaza at 1440 Beaumont Avenue. Call 951-769-5956. That's 951-769-5956. Online at the upsstorelocal.com/5027 or Google 5027.
Hello, listeners. This is Christopher from The Christopher Show. Hey, if you missed one of our shows here at KMET, don't worry about it. You can go to our webpage, and that's KMET1490am.com. Go to the homepage, click on the SoundCloud tab, and hear any show anytime you want.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. We appreciate each and every one of you wherever you're tuning in. We appreciate you, and we appreciate all those tuning in as well. Let's see. Yeah, we're getting some more interesting information. There you go. All right, Jesse, I know you got an article over there. What's going on?
Oh, yes. There's actually two stories I could probably talk about. One, this, oh my God, this story horrifies me. Okay, so I don't like isopods. I don't know if you know what those are.
Wait, say it again. They're what?
Isopods.
Isopods. It sounds cool because I love anything pod, but isopods, I got no clue.
Okay. Yeah, that's what a lot of people say because they're like, what is that? So, isopods are kind of like, think roly-polies.
Okay, all right.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
So, giant isopods are kind of like, yeah, there are giant ones, just to let you know. A pair of new species has been discovered in the deep sea, and this thing is horrifying. I'm not going to lie. It is the stuff of nightmares.
Okay, I get this. It's like a Pokemon.
I guess if you want to call it a horrible monster, but yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, like, okay, I'm trying to relate it to the kids out there, okay? Not trying to scare them. So an isopod, right, is that, I don't know if that's going to give you goosebumps or go, what the what? Yeah, it's an enormous isopod. It's been discovered where, Jesse?
It was discovered in the Gulf of Mexico, and it's roughly the size of an iPad, just to put that in perspective.
Got it. That is pretty big, not gonna lie.
Right? God, you know the first thing that came to my head when I saw that thing?
Jurassic Park.
No, Facehugger from Aliens.
Dude, you got like an alien thing going on. What's going on there, man? Is it ever since you watched that? I think it's ever since you watched that.
You know what? It probably is.
You got it in your head, man.
I hear these noises, and I'm just like, oh my God, the predator's behind me.
Scientists discovered a giant isopod off the coast of Mexico after analyzing the anatomy and DNA of the wood louse relative. Scientists revealed it was a completely new species. Huh. Did you see Jurassic World?
I have not seen the newest one yet.
Oh, I can almost not tell you this. Okay, there's a species. Well, okay, you know how they engineered dino DNA?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so there's a locust that's all of a sudden is seen, but it's like mutated.
No.
That's what this reminds me of, the fact that they're saying this.
Oh my God. And the one reason why I do not like isopods is there was a movie a few years back that revolved around these things, and it was one of the most horrifying movies ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, these things are huge, but you know what? They're good for the environment because they break stuff down. So
okay.
I just, you know.
So if it landed on your leg, what would you do?
Oh my God, you would see me scream and run like a girl. Oh my God, I would just be like, kill me now. The thing is huge. It's the size of it. It's like a giant.
It's not poisonous. It's kind of cute. It's got like a little like. It's not. I mean, it looks a little freaky. Not gonna lie, but it looks like, you know. Look at me. I got all my legs. I'm all like, you know, covered up by my shell. It kind of looks like a cross between a lobster and.
That's why I said roly-poly. They're giant roly-polies.
Yeah, but roly-polies are different. This one has like how many legs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like One, two. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got 6 legs on each side, so it's got 12. Right?
Okay, so how many legs do you think a roly-poly has?
I guess I never really think like that. I don't know. Okay, so all I know is when seen with the naked eye, they look like a grain of rice. They could dwell on the seafloor, scavenging on the marine snow that all dead things in the ocean become. During the research, the team discovered that the newly found Bathynomus yucatanensis was thinner and shorter, you try that word, and was yellower than its other relatives in the Gulf. Upon comparing the Bathynomus yucatanensis, still trying, to other species found in the Gulf, researchers found that the new giant isopod, again, this is a Pokemon ready to like evolve, is similar to the B. gigantis, aha, that's a word, than to the species B. maxiorum. A giant isopod is any of the almost 20 species of large isopods in the Bathynomus family. They're abundant in the cold, deep waters of the Atlantic, Pacific, and... Oh. I know why this is a thing, Jesse.
Why is that?
Okay, so there's an article, and I'm glad we're bringing this up, because I need to bring this up. On Instagram, okay. I follow CNN, okay? I follow them. I'm not ashamed to admit it, okay? We might be ABC affiliate, but we do look at other news, okay? Now, on CNN, they actually had this as a top headline, okay? And I will say this, Jesse, have you seen any articles about sharks, and they're all over TikTok, I'm not going to lie, where they're massive and they're swimming south, but they're Arctic sharks. Then there was an article about a beluga whale. Beluga whales, if you've ever been to SeaWorld or anywhere where they have a beluga whale, those are the white whales, right? But they're used to Arctic weather, so they have white all over them, right? They're not really seen in Florida often. Those are like manatees. These are other types. So this is the latest headline, and I said the shift was here, but here it is, okay? The Arctic, this is the latest news. This is according to CNN. Is warming 4 times faster than the rest of the planet. Okay, that's the headline. Literally, people in social media, this one, Nix, says, great, we're dead. he went right for it, man. La Denizen says, we're doomed. Zazimor says, this just triggered my anxiety. Veronica says, all governments need to get together far more than they do. We all need a plan ASAP. Braden says, I thought Florida was supposed to be under the ocean by now. At the rate it's going, it will be, by the way, in about 3 years. Okay? A good majority of it. They're already seeing signs of it, and I will say this is not good. The southern hemisphere of the planet also is kind of losing it, okay? There was a very interesting report from a weather person, and they were like freaked out as they spoke about it, Jesse. And they said, we don't know what to make of this, but okay, you know the large landmass of the Antarctic and the what's the one? Let's see, Antarctic is north, south is what? Or is Antarctica south and north is the north?
Antarctica is south.
Yeah, got it. Okay. That one has a couple big sheets of ice known as glacier-like landmass breaking off and going into the water, melting the rest of the water. So, if you ever saw Waterworld, think less gill, think more water. What do you get in about 8 years, Jesse?
Yeah, we get Waterworld, and nothing's free in Waterworld.
No, nothing is, because now soil is under the water. Okay, now, that's a worst case scenario, okay? But the problem is the fact that this headline says as a statement of real stuff, and if you ever check out CNN when it isn't political, it's always true. The Arctic is warming 4 times faster than the rest of the planet. Now, I will say I had a very interesting conversation with someone very smart, and I said, why is it that I'm kind of weird that there are certain Arctic fish being found on the like eastern shore of like the US? And they said, well, it's because they're fleeing something. Now, recently, Iceland had a volcano. okay? Iceland, okay? In the northern hemisphere, way north, right? If I live anywhere in the north and it's warming up, what does that create eventually? A, more water, B, more ice, and C, weird weather, right? The answer, worse than that. This is the summer. The fact that the Arctic is warming 4 times faster than the rest of the planet is the tilt off. Now, recently, some estimates, and I say it actually happened in 2018 and 2019, because I saw it, and now I can finally say it for real, because I literally showed someone that, you know, anyway, I showed this person, I said, look at my compass. The north was south, and the south was north, okay? And I was like, why is it doing that? And it would do it every now and then. Now, anyone that knows polar shift knows this is a thing, but they didn't report it. Okay, and I didn't know who to tell to say, hey, by the way, this is happening. And I thought, maybe I'm wrong, right? But I remember it happening for several days, okay? I remember when it happened, too. It happened specifically in 2018, then it happened again in 2019. But they recently have some articles saying, are we on another shift of, like, the compass, which is a, what do they call it? They call it a polar shift. Okay, now if that's happening, that could create a host of problems on this Earth. Now, they say it happens ever so often, right? I don't know why everything happens after 2020. But my point is this. If that happens, A, that's not good for the Earth. And B, why is the Arctic warming faster than the rest of the planet? I would say probably not 4 times faster. Maybe 1 to 3 times faster, right? Maybe they're a little extreme on this. But if it's warming faster than the rest of the planet, how is that good for Earth when all the ice is stored there? Now, at one point, one would say the ice wasn't always there. Because it was more north and or south, the Earth tends to wobble, right? Anyone that knows the way it like rotates, it doesn't stay always northish, southish, right? And if you knew space, you would say there is no north or south, right? Every way is up when you're in a spaceship, right? But north is north, south is south, right? Okay, back to core, or the equator. The equator kind of keeps things in a way northish, southish, right? If you flush a toilet in the north, it goes, I think, clockwise. If you do it in the south, it goes counterclockwise. Did you know that, Jesse?
Wait, what? So if I flush a toilet down under, it goes in the opposite direction?
Yeah, than you would in the northern hemisphere.
Really?
Yeah, you should try it out. Okay, so question of the day, right? If you ever flush a toilet and you see it go the opposite way, which I'm not going to lie, it happened in 2018 for me. And I said, that's weird, because I always pay attention to that, because I always thought it was a weird thing to say. But when I saw the compass, and I tell you this, it happened on my iPhone. You know how you have the compass on your iPhone? I thought it was malfunctioning. The whole 3 days, I showed one other person. She said, huh, that's interesting. And I said, look how it all of a sudden goes north, north, and then south, south. And then it would kind of teeter, like west, west, right? I think the shift already happened in 2018. Now, does the science prove that? I don't know. Right now, they're actually saying, technically, the Earth is actually rotating faster than it ever has, because they're missing certain, like, time back to, like, all that. So the question of the day is this. What does that mean for the Earth? I would say this. Based on certain estimates, they have already theorized that in the next 3 years, we're going to be 2 feet higher on water surface. Meaning, if you are at, and they would say sea level, right? If you're at sea, are you at sea level where you live, Jesse? Do you know?
I believe we're a couple 100 feet above sea level, so I'm good.
Okay, you're good. Now, if you're at sea level and you're near the ocean, guess what? That ocean comes in because it's higher than the landmass, okay? So let's say our west is Santa Monica, and let's say you're east and that you're near, like, the coast, okay? If you're at the coast and it goes up 2 feet, it comes inland because it's higher than the sand, right? But 2 feet is high, right? That's about this high. I mean, it's hard for me to show our viewers, but that's 2 full feet. All right, take your foot times 2. What size is your foot, Jesse? How many inches?
I don't know. I wear a size 11.
Okay, so you're 1 inch less than a 12, right? So 2 of your feet, in essence, stack them on top of each other. That's how much water you would be in sitting where you're at right now. Okay, and that's an estimate for everyone. If you lived at sea level and you were near the ocean, that water would be what you would be sitting in right now.
I am at 2,550 feet above sea level.
Yeah.
So I'm good.
Yeah, you're good where you're at because he's in Riverside, right? And he's inland. But my point is this, anything at sea level will be under 2 feet of water within the next 3 years. Now, this is troubling because this is the Arctic. The Arctic is north. That's where I got it kind of confused. Antarctica is south. But Antarctica, if you research, there's already certain glacier parts that have already broken off. Now, what does that mean for the world? Honestly, real estate, okay? If you're on the coast and you're on a cliff, you're fine. But if you're on the coast and you're at sea level, you're not fine. That's called move away or sell and get away from that area because it's going to go into the ocean, okay? It's going to be underwater if you're at sea level. Now, if you're on stilts, I would still say go away. We've seen like that river house go into the river because it was a storm. Remember that? We saw that. So I say if you're at sea level near the coast, if you're inland and you're at sea level, it doesn't work, okay? But if you're on the coast, within 3 years, especially with this news, we're under 3, possibly 4 feet within 4 or 5 years, okay? So we have time. But right now, you need to think not sea level anymore, especially near the coast, okay? Now, there's some homes, like Venice, that are at the coastline, okay? There's other areas like Long Beach at the coast, okay? So will it come more in? Yes. And now if there is a tsunami, guess what? That really comes in, all right? Now, let's say a volcano erupts somewhere in the Pacific, and a huge rock or debris goes splashing into the ocean. Will that create a tidal wave? The answer, yes. Will that create a tsunami? No. But what will create a tsunami is a flurry of rocks, right? Everyone says asteroid. I say volcanoes are erupting every day. We have more active volcanoes in the last 2 to 3 years than we have had in the last 30 years, okay? That's a problem. That is having a situation on this earth that is creating a problem long term, okay? There's a lot of science behind it, but all you need to know is this. Don't get real estate at sea level when you're near the coast. That's number 1. Number 2, if you have it, sell it. And number 3, get rid of it, really. And number 3, be ready for raft, okay? That's the fun, okay? Because you're going to want to get a raft because in the next 6 to 8 years, a lot of places are going to be underwater near the coastline. Anywhere inland like Jesse, he's safe. I'm safe, actually, where I'm at. I'm beyond, like, LA border. But people on the coast, you're going to have a problem, all right? And so we got to research that and make sure we know what's happening. All right, people, we're out of time. Make it a great day. Whatever you do, remember, life is worth living and live it well. Bye-bye, everyone. All right, for those of you tuning in, we appreciate you. Let's see, we've got people tuning in. Let me break it down for some of you, okay? I know some of you are just joining us. You're going, wait, what? How is this a thing? This can't be a thing, okay? But just do the math, okay? If you have a huge Arctic piece drop off into the ocean, think of ice, okay? Think of a cup, okay? I have a cup here, all right? I have no ice, but let's say I put water in here. I'm going to give you a demonstration, okay? If I put water in here, this is Earth now, okay? I know it's a science experiment. Mason's going to enjoy this, okay? So I put that in. I'm going to put all the water in, okay? And right about there, okay? Let's just say that's Earth level, okay? Right here, okay? Now, if I were to dump a piece of ice in this, is it going to go higher? The answer, yes. Because ice is more mass. Okay, you got to think of that. So it's going to go higher, right? Whenever you have a cup, if it were at this level and you put a bunch of ice, it spills over, right? Make sense? Okay, so this is going to go higher. Land right now, the way it's measured, when you're at sea level, that's what it means. You're at this level. Okay? Anything inland goes higher up and right like that. Okay, that's like maybe a mountain's up here, right? Or sticking out, right? You get it? But anything you put in here is going to make it go higher, right? Anything. So ice, when it's at the Arctic north or south, that's basically bundled up, but it's that way because the north is colder, the south is colder than the middle, because back to equator and back to the tilt and wobble and all that, north and south, blah, 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 right? Magnetic and all that. Kind of keeps us in a way so that the sun cools the middle-ish and then all that, right? So the fact that the Arctic is hotter means that the Arctic side is kind of tilted more towards the sun. That means we're kind of like more like this, if that makes sense. All right, that's not normal. Okay, now we know, yeah, it's summer, big deal, but it hasn't happened like this before. Now the southern part has been melting for some time, so the estimates of geologists and marine biologists and all those are kind of going, whoa, all right, and they get a little like, huh? I saw this report about 4 months back, and I asked some very smart people. They said, yeah, it's going to happen, because at the rate of what is melting, there's no way to save it right now. So never invest in oceanfront property that's at sea level. I said, okay, that makes sense. I said, how high is it going to go? They said, honestly, we estimate, and they kind of overestimate. They said like 6 feet within a few years, okay? But right now, at the rate that we're going, I would say probably 2 feet in 3 years' time. Okay, now you think 2 feet, that's not a lot, but like I said, if you're sitting right now, measure 2 feet. That's what Jesse did on the air. You saw him. He measured 2 feet. Okay, you'd be sitting in 2 feet of water if you're at sea level. A lot of you don't live at sea level, so you're like, I'm fine. Okay, the ocean is going to change near the beach. It's going to come up higher. Does that make sense? Because when you put, imagine the earth is water, okay? Now, if I put something in here, I'm thinking, what do I want to put in here that I'm okay, like, okay, I'm going to put this, okay? This is wabi, right? So it's going to that. But if you look at it, it's marginal. But when I push it down, landmass makes it go up. Yes or no? Some would say, well, no, you put something in there, right? Whether it's light or not doesn't matter. It takes up space. Do you get it? Now, the landmass is always here on this earth, okay? But in essence, this is what's happening. And if I push it any further, it's going to spill all over me, so I'm not going to do that, okay? This is, now, how do I explain this so everyone understands? That's going to rust. Okay, that's not going to work. I really have nothing here that I can show you. Okay, let's put my finger in, okay? My finger doesn't touch it, right? Now it does, right? If I put my whole hand in, right, what's going to happen? It's all going to get wet, right? But it's still going up. Do you understand? Whatever you put in additional is going to make it go up. Now, this is the thing. We already have the right amount of land here. Yeah? Okay. Volcanoes are adding land mass because the magma from underneath the surface comes up and out. So that creates more land mass. And we've had probably about 50 some volcanoes do that. Now you say, well, that's not a lot, but it is sizable. Now, over time, that combined with heat, combined with what it sends into the atmosphere, can also create a weird shift, which would happen suddenly. And that's called day after tomorrow. Okay, I talked about it. And some go, well, if it's heating, why would it get cold all of a sudden? That. The world has a weird way of fixing what happens. Okay? So yes, think water world, but then think what comes after water world. The earth does another shift. And that shift creates another shift, and another shift creates another shift, and another shift, or another shift creates another shift. Right? Meaning it's wobbling. Okay? So yes, it's really hot a few years, and then it gets really cold all of a sudden. Now what happens? The world gets cold. Why? There's more water. on the surface of the Earth. Why? Because the landmass at the top, the landmass at the bottom is now water. Okay? Now hold that thought. Now what happens when it tilts it away from the sun? Well, it gets colder, north. So, some got it, some didn't. That's okay. Scientists are researching separately, but they need to get in the same room to figure this out. Some people on social media are already saying that, hey, they need to get together to get to save us. It's true. What people need to understand is, if you talk to people that are researching the shift of the pole, okay, and some theorize that this could be a problem for Earth, okay, but there's a problem with volcano. The magma underneath is basically pushing out from underneath, okay? There's only so much magma to go around, okay? You think like a pimple on the surface, boom, it kind of finds its way. Now, we've had some explosions, right? Tonga, for example, right? Huge, big one, right? They say category like, whatever they say, I say like a 8 and above, right? I think their number system's off. They would say volcano 5 or like, right, tornado. We've had so many mega tornadoes that I would reclassify them. There is no 3, 4, and 5 anymore. It's more like 8, 9, and 10. Okay, that's how massive these are. The Earth is having a shift as we're speaking, but it's happened, I think, since 2018. Okay, and I know because I could say that publicly now, based on certain math and research that's being done. I'm like, okay, I wasn't crazy. The shift, I think, happened when 2018 happened, if that makes sense, okay? And if you put your math in, researchers, geophysicists, and biologists, and all of you, you would see there be a problem, A, with more water on the Earth. Some would say, well, how would there be more water when it's still here? It, goes up into the air, it rains. That's the problem, okay? Some of you got it, some of you didn't. Okay, let me get it very simple. Landmass for the last... Let's go to the year 20... Maybe 20... 2000 something BC, okay? We're at about 4,000 years later, right? They counted back to 0, and then 0 we went forward, right? So now we're at 2022, right? We have had the North Pole be the North Pole and the South Pole be the South Pole, right? But they said it wasn't impossible for the poles to shift, right? Now there isn't a little like stick in the middle that makes it do that. They call it the core. The core, along with the it's very complicated. Geophysicists can explain probably better than I can. But basically, the north is north, the south is south, right? And then you have the wave pattern, right? That blocks out the harmful rays from the sun, all right? Now, in 2018, I looked at gamma, and the gamma was higher than it had ever been here in Los Angeles, okay? And the sun was baking people, right? But it was also burning people at an accelerated rate. So they say, sunscreen problem, wear sunscreen, right? I don't wear sunscreen, but boy, was I red in 2018. Okay, when that happened, a lot of things were happening. Back to my compass, I was like, why is north south and south is north? It was weird, okay? Then it kind of like leveled off weeks later. But my point is this, probably a week later, I would say. So my point is this. I think some people were watching, some people were not. But back to what's happening now. When you have more water on Earth's surface being melted from the top and from the, right, not top, right? What do you have eventually? Honestly, some got it, some didn't. You have a combination of things. Smart science knows, okay? I said to Jesse, I said, go watch that movie Day After Tomorrow. Don't go to the extreme part of it. At the end, right? Anybody that's ever seen that, Dennis Quaid's in it. He's at the beginning, and at the beginning, there's a huge glacier that breaks off, right? He does research. Some scientists do research. He says some things, and some people are like, political, whatever. Like, yeah, right, whatever. You just want more money. He's like, no, guys, I'm trying to warn you something. Okay, something's happening. Okay, that's where we're at right now. Now, the science in that movie is very, well, because it's a movie, people go, that's not even real. It is real. The science is real, okay? There are some movies that go to science and then they go worst case scenario, right? If you remember the middle, it got cold all of a sudden, but they had extreme weather. Why? When the Earth's surface warms, you have a combination of things that happen. Okay, meteorologists know this. When you see a combination of hot, cold, and, well, that depends on how much water you have. When you have more water on the Earth's surface, because it's not trapped on the north and south side of the Earth, yes, it evaporates, but that creates more storm, that creates more weather, and that creates a cooling down period within anywhere from, at the rate we're going, probably 3 to 4. Ooh, wow. Well, we're already seeing it. If you have seen in the last few years, and we've been talking about weather, right? I actually posted a very interesting video on, hey, pay attention to the world weather. Okay, we pay attention to LA weather, and LA weather is nice, not gonna lie. But in certain parts like Europe and certain parts like Greece and other places, they have extreme weather that they've never had before. Okay, recently we had like a flooding in areas of Nevada. They're like, how is that happening? Extreme weather happens when the world is suffering. Okay, and is it suffering? The answer, yes. Now, you got to get political part out of your head. Okay, you got to get, the Earth's atmosphere warms at any given time. But back to volcano. We've never had a combination of things happen all at once to create the perfect problem for us to have to solve. Okay? When you have 50-some volcanoes erupt all at the same time within, honestly, a year to year and a half time, that creates enough smoke and enough emission to already create a problem for the Earth. Okay? That helps it warm up. Because the outer layer, especially the Tonga, and they talked about that, the particles that it sends out, it goes into the ionosphere. When it gets to the ionosphere, or someone say the iosphere, but whatever. When it gets to the topmost layer, it creates a blocking system. Okay, that's why some theorize you shouldn't do all white on the Earth's surface, because that will create a problem. Things will not warm. Some say the opposite. If you put too much like black on the Earth's surface, you attract too much. I'm having a theory right now. Like if you put enough black on, would help warm us further. But the point is this, okay? The Earth has a way of going from very hot to very cold, back to Ice Age, okay? Some of you want it here, some of you don't. The Ice Age, right? They think like, how did dinosaurs disappear? There's a multitude of things that people go, well, did this happen? Did that happen? Did this happen? But if you go to Ice Age, there was a pre-Ice Age, back to volcanoes, back to dinosaur, right? When did they become extinct? When did other animals thrive? And when did we go back to, landmass? Okay, it's kind of there, and you get it? No? Okay. All right. Okay. Whether you believe the Earth has been created, or whether you believe people have been here since eons of time, whatever, whether you believe all that, look at dinosaur or fossil record. Okay, every fossil record will show 100% that Earth had a multitude of things happen all of a sudden. Okay, we're going through that in the next probably, I'd say anywhere from 3 to 8 years. All right. Now, I already talked to some people that are very smart in the last few months, and I said, look, I get it. I don't know if people are ready for it. And they said, well, they're not ready for it. They're never ready for it. I said, okay, well, what do we do to be ready for it? They said, well, it's not about being ready for it. It's about surviving. I said, what? That's kind of extreme. They said, yeah, but you don't get it. It's happening whether we like it or not. So what does that mean? They said, well, prepare. I said, what do you mean prepare? They said, well, okay, you are always prepared, right? I said, yes. Well, people are not prepared. I said, all right. They said, when people are prepared, they know what to do eventually. But I would say move south. I said, what do you mean move south? They said, well, look, When you see oceans starting to overcome landmass, that's a problem. You don't want to be anywhere near coast. I said, well, I love the coast. Why would I not be around the coast? They said, well, that's the problem. People love the coast, but their houses are going to disappear slowly and gradually. I said, all right. They said, well, here's the thing. What you're estimating is something that a lot of people aren't researching. We're going to research it, but we need to research it more. But what you're suggesting is something that's not going to happen in 100 years. It's going to happen sooner than later. I said, what do you mean by that? They said, well, what you don't understand is this. Landmass stays, right? I said, yes. Well, not with volcanoes. I said, yeah, but that's not a lot. They go, yeah, but what you don't understand is there's a combination of things happening. I said, all right. They said, no, you don't get it. There's a combination of things happening. There's earth and then there's water. I said, yes, of course. They said, no, you don't get it. The problem isn't the water, it's the earth. I said, what do you mean? Well, the earth is getting hotter. Yes, but then there's a cold that happens all of a sudden. I said, what do you mean? They said, okay, you know how you keep saying the day after tomorrow? I said, yes. That science is real, but we thought we had 100 years. I said, what? We thought we had 100 years. Why did you think you had 100 years? I didn't even know it was a thing. They said, well, it is a thing. They said, your guesses are always on. We don't know why, but they're always on. I said, well, that's good. Glad to hear. I said, but I don't understand how that helps people. He said, well, that's the problem. People aren't. And then he stopped. I said, oh, it's bad. He goes, it's really bad. When you have landmass and you have water rising all of a sudden, if you're in New York or Rhode Island or anywhere near you get it? You don't want to be anywhere near when water starts going high. Okay, that's number one. What we're seeing is animals fleeing areas and they're going south. Why are they going south? There's a whole host of things that they're starting to research. Volcanoes in the northern hemisphere are starting to erupt. When those erupt, what happens to the Earth's surface? Yes, you got it. It gets hotter. Well, what happens with the Earth is the Earth usually maintains either very hot or very cold or in the middle. We have had the in the middle for the last 4,000 years. Okay? If you look at certain, those movies where they actually take a portion of the of the, I think it's the Antarctic and yeah, the Arctic is north, Antarctica bottom. Okay, whatever. So they take a portion of the ice, right? A big sheet, right? And they can calculate what happened at certain times with emission of what they call carbon. Well, how do you have carbon 60,000 years in the past? That's called dinosaur volcano and eruption. Duh. Okay, when you get all that together, then you understand what's going to happen eventually. We're going through another shift. But when they say go south, they mean it's going to attack the northern when it cools down all of a sudden. Now, is that good for landmass? The answer, yes. But if it's sudden, the answer is no. I know it doesn't make sense, but let me put it in very simple ways. Okay, let's take this cup. All right, this cup, always the same, right? Now I drink it. It's less, right? Yeah, but it's a cup with the same pre-designated water, right? Okay, some people think, oh, we're going to have a drought. We're never going to have a drought. It's just called more salt water than, right, water that we can drink, okay? But all you have to do is go through a process where you basically heat up the ocean water, you get it into like a vapor form, and then you can purify the water, and boom, you got water for days. They actually have machines that do that, take water vapor out of the air, and boom, you have water, and it filters the water. Like, very simple, right? Those are good. You know, if you ever think you're going to be like in a drought area, get one of those. You're good for at least the next, I would say 15 to 20 years. Okay, just get one of those, all right? Now, they're expensive, but you're never going to ever be in a drought. Even if you're in the desert, there's always water vapor in the air. We live on Earth. You live on Mars, you don't have water vapor, right? That's pretty much gone, okay? I get it. They just discovered some ocean water trapped in certain things. But whatever. My point is this. That melted because it's closer to the sun. Do you get it? Okay, let me help you out. The atmosphere is the ozone-ish, right? They call it the ozone. It's more complicated than that, but whatever. My point is this. That ozone-ish helps keep everything in, right? That's why basically it's not like it's leaking out and beyond. They said when the ozone layer was kind of in the northern hemisphere a problem, it had kind of like a hole. They said, well, that's a problem because water vapor ends up seeping out. I said, what? They said, yeah, we don't tell people that, but that's a thing. I said, well, that's interesting. So that's been repaired over the last few years. All right, they did kind of math on it. They go, okay, thank God. Right, so that's good. That keeps our water vapor in. That's what happened to Mars. It lost its atmosphere. Does that make sense? That's why it's a desert. That's why I say, why go to Mars when you can go to Venus, right? Just go to Venus. They have more, you know what I mean? Okay, so very important, okay? The sun gives bursts of energy, right? When it gives bursts of energy, it sends out waves of stuff, okay? That can hurt us if we don't have the north be north and south be south, okay? It's a very, very interesting mechanism of things that work to dispel harmful whatever at us, okay? But what you need to know is this. This cup is non-refillable, okay? So, in essence, if you want more land mass and you have less water, then you have more land mass. Does that make sense? On the coast. Yeah, it would recede. There you go. You got it. Okay. That's why you don't want to be near the coast when it increases. You get it? Well, how did it recede? Right? Well, some would say the north got... Okay, you kind of got it? You didn't get it? Okay. The north gets so cold and the south gets so cold. Why? Equator! Yay! North is north and south is south. And that has a tilt, which brings season. In certain areas, more consistent than not, right? We have summer, we have fall, we have winter, then we have spring, right? Everything is an ecological balance. But in the next 3 years, we're going to see well, let's put it this way. We've already had, I don't know how to put this. Okay, when you do research, I know a lot of people aren't going to do research, but let's put it this way. If you do research, go look at the latest headlines when it comes to weather, okay? You will see not extreme weather, you will see odd weather, okay? Clouds are weird. There's so many stuff that are weird ever since 2018 that people go, what is going on with the world, the earth? What's going on with that? A lot, okay? Now, not to freak you out, you can stay alive. I just say, go inland, all right? Go higher. See, Jesse's like, I'm good at my sea level because I'm above sea level. Anyone at sea level, not good. Now, if you're inland, like 3 or 4 or 5 miles inland, you're good, right? You have time. It's not going to come rushing in, right? Now, if there's a tsunami, yes, that's what Japan is at. Japan has had so many bad tsunamis because of earthquakes and other, that when a tsunami happens, it comes inland and it goes high, right? Stories high, like 3 to 4 stories high, right? That's what they've been seeing in the last few months. And I've seen a couple of reports that go, what? How come nobody's reporting on this? Because they're talking about coronavirus. Now, coronavirus is real. Pox is real. Smallpox is here. And, well, now polio is real. What the hey, right? That used to be a thing in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. People got immunized with that, right? Or inoculated, right? Now they're going, do we need to get inoculated again? I say yes, but you got to do the math. It's now a new strain. So you got to be careful with that. But back to water, okay? Water either goes or comes back, but it recycles on our Earth. So you still have a certain amount of water, right? That water that I put in, you don't get more water all of a sudden from nowhere. That doesn't make sense, right? When the planet was formed, it had water here. Some would theorize Mars was the same, but the sun was actually not as bright as it is now, which is why they found ocean water there, because, well, Mars had water, duh, right? If you look at Venus, Venus has water trapped underneath the vapor, right? It's there, okay? Most planets have that. The further far out you go, they say, oh, it's like a sheet of ice. Well, there's a reason. A lot of planets already have water, right? No? Some theorize no? Okay, some think Jupiter and Saturn don't have water, but I would say they do. That's why they have storm, but whatever. Okay, so my point is this. Water is obviously on Earth. Thank God, right? You can pull it from the atmosphere, right? Okay. But if it goes up 2 to 3 feet in the next 3 to 4 years and you live at surface near the coast, you see why I say move inland, sell it, get rid of it, get out from Dodge? Or at least get flood insurance, because that's definitely going to happen, right? get flood insurance. And you don't want to, so you're like, I don't believe half of this. Then get flood insurance, okay? Because it will happen. Okay, get ready for that. Okay, you don't want to be not covered in extreme weather. Now, Yosemite has had extreme weather. Okay, that's why it's now like sectioned off. You can't go in certain parts of Yosemite. They have had extreme weather. That's here in the U.S. If you don't believe me, look that up. Okay, stuff I'm saying is all real. But if you look around the world, Africa, parts of Mexico, parts of, let's just go Mexico. I'd be okay moving to Mexico, but not Cancun. Cancun is at sea level. I was there one time when they had a flooding, and I was like, "Whoa!" Okay, it was flooded, right? And that was in December, right? But they're known for their storms, okay. But that's a perfect example of if there were a tsunami, Cancun would be under water, okay. Now, would it recede eventually? The answer, yes. But in the next 3 to 4 years, even they will have a hard time. So don't go to Cancun. Acapulco has more mountains, so the answer, yes. But Hawaii, perfect example. Hawaii is at sea level. So what's going to happen there? You get it? Landmass doesn't suddenly float on top. It starts somewhere, right? It's not a floating little... I know when you think island, you think, oh, it's... No. That's called a raft. A raft floats, okay? Ice floats, right? But when it melts, there's more water in the... You get it? There you go, you got it. You could put a lot of ice in here and it still be higher, but when it melts, it still becomes a water, so it's still, you get it, it gives more water eventually. That's what we're getting with the Arctic, and that's why that report is very important, and that's why CNN is reporting it's warmer than the rest of the planet. That's not good. You know how much ice is trapped there? Bye-bye. There you go. You get it? All right. I'm going to leave you with that. I'm just going to say, if you live on a coastline, think the next 3 to 4 years, move and or get flood insurance. There you go. All right. You heard it here first. All right, people. Make it a great day. Remember, life is worth living. Watch the day after tomorrow. See if I'm wrong on that, and then prove me wrong, and then you'll see what I'm saying. All right, people. Make it a great day. Bye-bye, everyone.